Hey guys, well, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming out pretty soon, and from the recent trailer, I think it's called Rise of Electro. I admit, it looks pretty cool for the most part. Even though I don't like the fact that, yeah, as my friend pointed out, it looks like the same story thread from Batman Forever, the whole Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma thing. Yeah, so you know what? After watching The Amazing Spider-Man, I still think The Amazing Spider-Man sucks, but I'm willing to give the second one, the benefit of the doubt. Because it's not going through the origin story again. It already fucked that up, but at least this one is a sequel. So, at least it's something. And plus, it's going to be more about the Sinister Six, but I hope they don't, I just don't want to fuck up Spider-Man. So, speaking of Spider-Man, I'm going to talk about my favorite superhero movie of all time, Spider-Man 2. And this one includes the original theatrical one plus the extended version, the 2.1, which I think is a better version. Not just because of the extended footage in the fights, but it makes the movie a little bit more better. So why is it my favorite? Instead of like the Avengers, the Dark Knight, even the Christopher Reeve Superman one? Well, to me, this feels a lot more relatable, a lot more personal, because let's see, Superman, he was an alien and he's, trying to be more human, but there's still that alien side to him. And I love Superman, I love Batman, but Spider-Man has always been my favorite comic book character, and I don't even read that much comic books. Um, but I did grow up with the the 90s animated series, the one with the electric guitar theme song, which is still awesome. I'm still sad that they didn't make a modern version of that. I always thought that's the best Spider-Man theme. I mean, Danny Elfman, he did the music for this one. He didn't do a bad job, but I wouldn't say the theme was memorable. Even though it's weird, when I hear the new I like Hans Zimmer. So when I heard the new theme from The Amazing Spider-Man, I honestly thought the Danny Elfman is much better. I don't know. I like Hans Zimmer scores, but I hated that one. But yeah, this one. Like I said, I liked it because it's felt more personal. And yes, I do like Sam Raimi films. Sam Raimi. Don't know how you pronounce it, but I love the Evil Dead series. I love the Spider-Man trilogy, even though I thought Spider-Man 3 kind of sucked, but I did appreciate the good in it. And The Quick and the Dead, I love that. And there were a couple of other ones I didn't see yet. Um, One I'm trying to avoid is Crime Wave, mostly because there was an extremely funny short on it, and my friend saw it. He said it was horrendous, so I'm gonna avoid that. But yeah, I forgot what the joke is about. It's with James Franco and Bill Hader as Willem Dafoe. See that on the internet if you can. But yeah, to me, what really grabbed me about this one over, like the Amazing Spider-Man, is Peter Parker. And I know that Andrew Garfield is kind of closer to the comic book version. He's a wise ass. He makes quips and all, but honestly, in the Amazing Spider-Man, I thought he was a douche. He and also he stood up for himself already. I don't even and his whole destiny thing. Spider-Man was Peter Parker was created into a superhero by accident. That's how it should always be. In the Amazing Spider-Man, it's like he's already destined to, you know, because it turns out his parents was working on the mutated spiders, and he happens to be bitten by one at Oscorp. I did not like that at all. So I like that it shows that a normal human being can be a superhero. And like Uncle Ben keeps saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter Parker has this great power thrust onto him, and he has to be responsible for it. Which is more than I could say about the Amazing Spider-Man. But speaking more about this, um, even though Tobey Maguire barely made any jokes as Spider-Man, and yes, I know that the '90s series, he has an upbeat personality, he creates jokes and stuff, but you know what, this one is more believable. And I know there's a couple quips he made at the Doc Ock. One of them is "Here's some change" when he threw the money bag at him, and I chuckled at that, but it wasn't hysterical. But as a character, he's a lot more relatable and believable. Mostly, this happened 2 years, or yeah, 2 years after the first movie, and he's struggling with Uncle Ben's death. He's struggling with accident. He didn't kill the Green Goblin. Green Goblin killed himself, but he felt extremely sad about that. That's why he and James Franco, Harry Osborn barely talk with each other. And he couldn't get the girl of his dreams, Mary Jane Watson, because he doesn't want to put her in danger. So he gets a crappy apartment, which he could barely pay rent for. He's constantly fired from the Daily Bugle, but he gets hired the same day. I love that. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson is great, and I love that he's cheap as hell. And but yeah, he had a job. He was a pizza delivery boy, and he unfortunately fucked that up. Also, it's not 100% his fault. He's Spider-Man. He wants to save the people, but he also has to make a living for himself because, I don't. He's not like a Ghostbuster. He's not getting money for any of his heroic duties. That would be hilarious, though. After he saves someone, he gives them a bill. Superheroes should start doing that. Like the whole Clark Kent thing as a news reporter, I couldn't believe that he didn't get fired from his job yet, especially from after watching all the movies and animated series. In Superman Returns when Clark Kent came back after 5 years and he gave that bullshit excuse about visiting some llamas or something like that. I totally forgot. But he's able to get his job back, mostly because a person who had that position died already. Yeah. But, he's struggling to make money, and in the beginning that he's running out of time because I used to work in the pizza restaurant, so I didn't do deliveries or anything, but I know about them. You have to make a strict time schedule because that's what the customer wants. In this one, it's 29 minutes guarantee, so he has to go. I forgot how many blocks. He has to go from one side of New York City to the other within 29 minutes. He, as Peter Parker, he rides a scooter now, but as you know, in New York City, traffic is terrible, so it's almost impossible. And making pizzas takes so much time, and he has like 8 or 9 of them in a stack. So he tries. He realizes that he only has 3 minutes left to go, and since it's the 29-minute guarantee, if it passes 29 minutes, the customer doesn't have to pay for it. And if that happens, Peter Parker loses his job. So he becomes Spider-Man and starts web-slinging through the city. But while doing that, he realizes I think they're pretty stupid kids, but they're very young. So I guess it makes sense. They're chasing after a ball in the middle of the street, but a truck is going to come and hit them. I don't know why the truck didn't even try stopping. I guess it was just sudden, but he comes in and saves the day. And then he finally gets to the destination, but it turns out that he spent, it's like 3 minutes past the 29-minute guarantee, which, the receptionist, the one who's supposed to, pay for the pizza, she doesn't want to pay for it because Peter Parker's too late, and you feel bad for him because he's Spider-Man, he saved the kids, and he has to go through New York City just to deliver pizzas. And in the 2.1 edition, there's an extended scene where he's trying to get out of the closet. No, literally get out of the closet. And he spent like a couple minutes trying to put back all the brooms and stuff. And then after that, when he realizes he's not going to get paid for it, he walks towards the closet again, but the receptionist is like, don't you want to use the elevator? He's like, oh, yeah, okay, nice to see you again. You see the look of disappointment in his face, but he's a very nice guy. He doesn't want any confrontation, and you see in his eyes that, oh my god, he's going to lose his job. But at the same time, he has to keep a positive attitude about it. So, he loses his job. at the pizza place, and my God, my boss's boss looked exactly like him. The guy Peter Parker worked for. I think the actor's name is Asif Mandi, so that made me laugh. And he loses his job. He got fired from the Daily Bugle, but got rehired again for giving away his picture of Spider-Man. James Franco, Harry Osborn is still angry at Spider-Man because he believed that Spider-Man killed his father, and Peter Parker still feels miserable about that. And Peter Parker is missing classes all because he's trying to, take care of the job and also be Spider-Man. So he's about to flunk his classes. And then when he finally goes back home to visit Aunt May, turns out this happened during his birthday, and he totally forgot about it. The entire beginning, you just feel sorry for the guy. And it's good because you want to know how a normal human being would work with this situation. So, yeah, I still feel like it's like an underdog story. And he's trying everything to survive and be a superhero at the same time. And Aunt May couldn't afford to keep her house because she can't get work and Uncle Ben is dead. So, oh yeah, every time they mention Uncle Ben, you could tell that Peter really feels horrible about it. And he wishes that he could do anything to bring him back. So, and then he meets up with Dr. Octopus, who's played by Alfred Molina, who I thought was a very excellent pick for him. And I grew up with the animated series, and I know that he was like a stereotypical evil Russian/German scientist. But in this one, he's more like a normal guy. He's a regular guy who happens to be very smart. And he has a wife played by Donna Murphy, who was the evil mother from Tangled. And she was good in this, even though she's only in it for like 2 minutes. So the 2.1 extended, the 2.1 edition extended bits of almost every single scene is a bit extended, and I like that. I understand why it's cut out, but at the same time, I usually like longer movies because it shows what they're trying to go for, and most of the times it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But in here, I feel like almost every single scene works. So, yeah, the Dr. Octopus is gonna do some fusion reactor thing where he's gonna make another sun, but a very tiny version of it. And you know what? I like the concept, even though you know something bad is gonna happen. It's involving making another sun, of course. So, Peter Parker tries to... Oh, yeah, Mary Jane. You know, I think Kirsten Dunst still did a good job as Mary Jane. It could have been a lot better, but, you know, with what she got, I thought she was good. But I must admit, the best thing about Amazing Spider-Man was Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. And, yeah, it's Emma Stone. She's extremely talented, and makes you wish that she played Mary Jane in the original version, because she's that good. But, speaking of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I believe her name was Shailene Woodley. She was supposed to be Mary Jane, and I know there were some internet photos of her that were unflattering, but you know what? She is a very good actress too. I liked her in The Descendants, and I still haven't seen, I think it's called The Spectacular Now, and I heard she was very good in that. You know, and I know she's going to be in that dumbass looking Divergent movie. I don't know, it looks stupid, but I heard it's based on a very successful young adult series, and I thought The Hunger Games was going to be bad, so probably this one's going to be very good too. But, yeah, it's a shame they cut her part out from Amazing Spider-Man 2, but, you know, we'll see. Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2 looks bloated as hell anyway, so I understand why they cut her out. But, back to Spider-Man 2. Yeah, Mary Jane Watson, she still loves Peter, but Peter wants to love her, but he knows he can't. But he's trying to balance everything out, so he's gonna see her play. He promised it. Then you see his crappy-ass apartment, run by that stereotypical Russian guy. I don't know the actor's name, but he's in almost every single movie. and he's usually not bad. In here, he was a stereotype, and Peter only had $20, and the tenant just took it. And his daughter, he has a daughter, and even though she's skinny as hell, I think she's good looking. I don't know what other movie she did, but I like her. But yeah, you see that he has a crappy apartment, and this is a bit extended in the 2.1 version. In the Spider-Man 3, you saw that he has a police scanner, and you're wondering if this happened right after Spider-Man 2, but it turned out he had it during this movie. And that's the only... he just listens to the police scanner right before he goes to sleep, so to stop any crime. And you know what? I like that. Even though he could barely sleep, he's always exhausted. You know what? Good for him. He cares about the people. So he tries to go to the Mary Jane's musical. I think it's called Ernest. The Importance of Being Earnest, I think. I totally forgot. But yeah, he tries going there, but of course someone has to ruin his day. Two thugs stole a car, almost tried, even though it was kind of an accident, but they ran over Peter Parker. Well, he jumped in time, but they ran over a scooter. So he catches up to them, saves the day, and in the 2.1 version, there's a couple more seconds right after he ties up the guys onto the lamppost, that he was actually driving the car as Spider-Man. And this happened in 2004, so if that shit happened now because he took off his mask, everyone with a smartphone would capture that immediately and put it on the internet. I totally forgot what the kind of technology we had in 2004, but I know I had a crappy ass cell phone with very bad resolution for pictures, and it's but still, people could have taken a picture of his face. But it was kind of funny. So he arrived to the musical, and then you see an awesome cameo from Bruce Campbell, who's the very, very ignorant usher. Because you just want Peter Parker to go see the musical, even though he's late. But he got there anyway, but I understand from the usher's point of view, and it's Bruce Campbell, you can't mess with him. He's like, shh. So Peter Parker's sad about this, and he realizes that Mary Jane is actually seeing someone, who turns out to be J.Jonah Jameson's son. Shoot, now I forgot the character's name. Dang it. Yeah, I totally forgot the character's name now. Man, that's bad. Man-Wolf. Who's not Man-Wolf in this movie, but still. He felt sad about that, but then he started losing his powers. He can't do his web slinging, he can't climb walls and anything. And I don't fully know the reason why, but I just believe that it's due to extreme stress that he's losing his powers. And you know what? I could buy that. Yeah, I could buy that. I don't know what else to say about that one. But yeah, at first when I realized that there's barely any Spider-Man in this, but that wasn't really the point of the movie. The point of the movie is that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, with or without the suit. And it shows the personal journey of this man from beginning to end. And you know what? It's a great character arc. So he loses his powers, and he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. He wants to be normal. So he gives up his suit. And there's an awesome cameo from Uncle Ben. And Peter Parker's depressed, and he wants a life of his own. So he gives it all up and tries to be normal again. But when he lost all his powers, he has to wear glasses again because he can't see anymore. That kind of sucks. But, you know what? He's trying to do everything right for himself. I don't think he got a job, so I don't know how he's paying off everything, but at least he's attending classes, he's getting A's again, he's one of the best students, and, he doesn't have to deal with the stress of being Spider-Man. And he's trying to get Mary Jane back as well. But right before this, The Doc Ock thing. Mm. Shit goes to hell. His project failed, and you get this awesome callback to the Evil Dead movies. There's this awesome scene in the hospital where the doctors are gonna try to they're gonna use surgery to remove Doc Ock's tentacles, and then the tentacles become alive. You know, they're sentient, and they kill off the hospital staff. And you see the close cuts, the zoom ins and zoom outs, and you see the chainsaw, and you know the scene in Evil Dead where it's chasing the person throughout the woods. This one is chasing throughout the hospital room, and it's a completely well done. And for a PG-13 movie, this is more horrific than a lot of the rated R horror movies I've seen in a while. Still to this day, that scene is just brilliant. And so Doc Ock is wants to kill himself at first, but he is persuaded by the tentacles because of their AI, and he wants to make a better fusion reactor. And you know that this is going to be is going to end up as a failure as well. So he tries to steal money from a bank, and that's when Peter Parker just happened to be there with Aunt May, and it is an awesome scene. The 3 fights in this were excellent, although the train fight is the best, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, Spider-Man and Doc Ock are fighting at the bank and around the buildings, and Doc Ock took Aunt May hostage, and Spider-Man has to save her. And there's this awesome part where Doc Ock is gonna stab Spider-Man with his tentacle, and Aunt May just hits him in the head in slow motion, and it was amazing. And then Spider-Man saves Aunt May from falling. And yeah, shoot, I forgot her name, but the actress's name, but Aunt May was badass. So yeah, after that, Peter Parker loses his powers, and then Doc Ock is almost finished with his machine. Peter finally saw Mary Jane's play. Oh, it's not a musical, it's a play. Sorry. I thought it was a musical. Play, it's a play. And, you know, Mary Jane is happy about it, but also sad by it, and she's still pissed off that, you know, she believes that Peter Parker's not going to be around for her anymore. He can't do anything about it. But and then you see a scene that really defines Peter Parker for who he is. He knows he doesn't have powers, but he sees that an apartment is on fire, and a couple baby is trapped in the burning apartment. At first he realizes he can't do anything about it, but then he's like, he has no choice. He has to get that baby. So he rushes in, and this is because he has no powers, he's back to his normal self, and he was a weakling. He could barely break down the door. But then again, I never broke down the door before, but he just, you know, slammed into it as hard as possible. He's like, oh! But even though he knows he's weak, he tries to save the kid anyway, and he does. But there's this funny moment where he's falling, and he's grabbed onto the ledge, but he couldn't hold on much longer, and the baby picked him up, you know, pulled him up. The baby is a hero in this. And yeah, even though it was too comical, but you know what? The minor characters make up for Spider-Man. And, you know, he saves the baby, and everyone calls him a hero. But it turns out that a person died in that apartment building. And you see, no one said anything, but you could tell from the look of his eyes that if he was Spider-Man, he could have saved both of them. So he's thinking about it, and he doesn't know what to do. He wants to be normal, but he knows that he has to be a hero again. With great power comes great responsibility. He felt like he lost that responsibility, and he wants to bring it back. So then he meets up with Aunt May, who's moving to another apartment because she couldn't pay for her house now. So, you know, then she tells him about there's a hero in all of us. And sometimes you have to sacrifice what you want most, and Peter realizes this. So then you have a hilarious scene, which is still awesome. Peter trying to get his powers back. So it's in slow motion. He's running on top of the rooftop, and then he jumps and says, "I'm back! I'm back!" And then it turns out he didn't get his powers back, so he falls all the way down, and at the last second grabs onto a clothesline, hits the wall, then hits a couple cars, and he broke his back. And the funny line was, "My back! My back! Ah!" And you know what? Sam Raimi is very good with humor. And it doesn't hit you in the head with it. It just makes sense. I mean, it's it's goofy, but in a very good way. It's realistic, at least. So, Mary Jane wants to see Peter Parker again, wants to know if he loves her, and then Doc Ock kidnaps her because he, a couple scenes before that, he met up with James Franco, who wants tritium to, it's the final component he needs for his fusion reactor. So, James Franco, Harry Osborn, he's miserable, he's drunk as hell, and he wants to kill Spider-Man. But he knows that the only person who knows Spider-Man's location is Peter Parker. Harry doesn't want Peter Parker hurt, but he just wants to kill Spider-Man. So Doc Ock meets up with Peter Parker, threatens him with killing Mary Jane if he doesn't bring Spider-Man. So Peter Parker is slammed against the wall, and it seems like he was crushed under the rubble, but then he got his powers back, and he loses the glasses, and then tries to brings the suit back. Oh yeah, the suit. When he threw away the suit, a garbage man found it, and then brought it to J. Jonah Jameson. And it wasn't in the theatrical one, it's only in the 2.1 edition. There's a scene where J. Jonah Jameson is wearing the Spidey suit while smoking a cigar, and it is hilarious. That image is worth the movie alone, no matter what. He looks good. So, J. Jonah Jameson is extremely upset. He felt like he's the reason why Spider-Man is not Spider-Man anymore. And when he was about to finish his sentence, Spider-Man stole his suit back, and then he's angry again. He's a menace to the entire city. I want that wall-crawling arachnid prosecuted. I want it strung up by its web. Yet, I kind of understand why The Amazing Spider-Man doesn't have J. Jonah Jameson yet, because J.K. Simmons owns that role. No one else could do a better job. I don't know anyone. He is great. He's one of the best things about Portal 2. And wow. You can't replace that guy. And then Spider-Man is gonna stop Doc Ock, and then you have one of the most amazing fights in cinemas. The train fight. And everything about, all the shots and everything, it's so intense, and it was epic as hell. And you know what? It's still one of my favorite fights to this day. And the thing about the CG is that, I admit, when I first saw the first Spider-Man movie, the CG was but it's the first time they're trying to get it right. But this one, it's more fluid, the animation is more fluid, and they blended real practical stuff with the CG, and it all works out. You can barely tell it's fake. But yeah, it's an amazing train fight, and then when it seems like during the middle of the fight, Doc Ock just decides to make the train, he cut off the brakes, so the train has to keep going and going and going at high speed, like 90 miles per hour. So let's see. So Spider-Man has no choice but to stop the train. But he turns out that there's the end of the track, and they're gonna hit it no matter what. So he does. At the time, he took off his mask because it was burning from the little tiny explosion from the brakes. So I'm kind of upset that he didn't just, use his web to stuck it onto his face. But you know what? It's the heat of the moment. It makes sense, and I do understand what they're trying to go for. They want to show that he's a normal person. He doesn't care about being Peter Parker anymore. He just wants to save the people. So he sacrifices himself, and I don't think I've seen any other superhero do it better than Spider-Man. Um, he almost died from it, and he used his webs to stop the train, but it's he uses all his strength, and his suit is ripping. You could hear the bone crunching, and you could tell that he would do whatever it takes just to save the people, and I love that. That scene defined every single superhero movie, everything that a superhero should be. And it shows that a normal guy who didn't have powers before finally has the powers, finally has the responsibility to save a train full of people. He didn't have to, but he wants to. And, Spider-Man is knocked out. Doc Ock took him in, and, he took him to see Harry Osborn, and Harry Osborn took off the mask, and he realizes that it's Peter Parker. And you know what? James Franco is a very good Harry Osborn. And the look on his face when you realize that he believes the man who killed his father is actually his best friend, and he's about to stab him. And the acting is really good. So, and it sets up for Spider-Man 3, which I really did like. And Spider-Man goes to Doc Ock's hideout. He saves Mary Jane, beats up Doc Ock, and Doc Ock sacrifices himself to stop the fusion reactor from taking over the city. He had a change of heart, and you know what? That's good, because he's a believable human. He wants to not let go of his dream of creating renewable energy for all of mankind, but like Peter Parker's repeated Aunt May's saying that sometimes you have to give up the things you want the most, even your dreams. And he believes that. Knowledge is a gift, it's a privilege. It's used for the good of mankind. And I love the message. So, even though Mary Jane realizes that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Peter Parker believes that they have to separate. There's no way they could be together. He's worried for her safety. And then they show her wedding with J.Jonah James's son. And she rejects him. And she's willing to sacrifice her life just to be with Peter Parker. And you know what? It's a little cliched, and it's a little corny, but you know what? For a happy ending, you just want Peter Parker to get what he wants, finally. And he finally gets it. And then you see this awesome scene where right after Peter Parker and Mary Jane kiss, he hears a police siren, and she says, "Go get him, Tiger." And then he does this awesome web slinging throughout the city. And then it cuts back to Mary Jane feeling, unsure of what's going to happen in the future, because she doesn't want him hurt, and she wants to know if what she did is the right choice. And you know what? What I like the most is that they don't have to tell you, and they don't really have to show you. You see in the emotions, the expressions, and that's what gets it right. It rights all the wrongs from the first Spider-Man. And, there were some things I didn't like, especially one that is a huge nitpick for me. On the train, when because Spider-Man didn't have his mask on, everyone knows what he looks like now. And he wakes up from this and realizes he doesn't have his mask on. And then everyone's like, "Oh, no, it's okay." Then you see these two boys coming up giving Spider-Man his mask. And you know what they said? "Don't worry, we won't tell anyone." I guess at that, I kind of accepted it in 2004, but, it still doesn't make sense now. Are you telling me that every single one of the people that he saved on the train is not gonna, take a picture of him without his mask on or betray him in the end? Every single one is a good-hearted person? Bullshit. And, we're not gonna tell anyone who you are, what you look like. I thought that would carry on in Spider-Man 3, but no, it didn't. It should have. You know, there should be a scene where, wait, you don't remember me? I saw you on the train. You know, that kind. But no, that did not happen at all. I don't know. That scene was corny as hell, and it at just that moment, it felt it didn't feel realistic. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, you're like, every single one of those people are not going to tell anyone about what he looks like. Whatever. You know, great for the people. And let's see what else. You know, the CG really improved over the first one. The practical effects really improved over the first one, and you know, I don't know how much of the stunts Tobey Maguire did, but it looked painful, and the suit still looks unbearable. You know, to wear, but you know what? The suit looks awesome. I still love the suit. It's the best suit I've seen, and the Amazing Spider-Man is using that suit but with bigger eyes. But I don't know. Even though I know Tobey Maguire is a skinny dude, but he looks more realistic as Spider-Man than Andrew Garfield. I'm sorry, Andrew Garfield is too skinny to me. So, let's see, what else can I say? You know, the journey of Peter Parker as him trying to be a normal person, trying to make a living, and also be a superhero at the same time, it works. It really works. And because he's like the middle class or poor class, he's a lot more relatable than Superman, Batman, Iron Man, Captain America, almost every single superhero. And you know, oh, and not just that, he feels what normal people feels. He feels devastated that he's the cause of a family member's death, and his best friend's father's death, and you know, he's a normal person, a normal college student, and that's what made me love this movie. So yeah, can you believe this is almost 10 years old? I think this came out in May, so a couple more months it'll be 10 years old, and now we have the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So yep, that's all I gotta say. Thanks.